It has finally happened, folks, as Tyler Johnson is now a Boston Bruin. Just moments ago, it was announced from the Boston Bruins that Tyler Johnson has signed a one-year contract with the team. I'm going to be talking about how we've gotten to this point, where we are now, and what corresponding move the Bruins will have to make to be able to get Tyler Johnson into this lineup. Now, before we get into all of this, make sure to hit the sub button. We know 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed. If you're in the spot to get all of your Boston Bruin news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button. Join us here. We're covering everything Boston Bruins related. But without any further ado, we need to get into this because this is something we've all been waiting for so long. The Bruins have signed Tyler Johnson. Now, as you know, for those who've been here, I've been waiting for this moment since we've seen him sign a PTO with the Boston Bruins. Even before we've seen where this team is now, the early struggles into the weekend success, I've been waiting for Tyler Johnson to get into this lineup, knowing that he would fit super well. I'm going to pull up our first screenshot here, looking at what Connor Ryan had to say. The Bruins have signed Tyler Johnson to a one-year NHL contract with a cap hit of $775K. An absolute steal of a deal for a guy like Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson should still be under NHL contract for a couple of years, and very, very happy, frankly, that he's not, because the Bruins would not have had him if that was the case, but also that we got him at such a cheap price, and going forward with the moves that we may have to make later on in the season, this is exactly what we've been waiting for. This is exactly what we wanted to see from the standpoint of the Boston Bruins and where they are right now. And for those who don't know, Tyler Johnson spent his last few seasons with Chicago in a very horrible situation, still waiting for Bedard, got Bedard, and they're still bad. But Tyler Johnson was the highlight of that team, along with Connor Bedard. But Tyler Johnson was the guy getting all of the points, was the guy out there that was really putting that team afloat, keeping them afloat. And that's a big part of what Tyler Johnson has been able to do for this entire career. Whether it was with the Chicago Blackhawks, whether it goes back to Tampa, where he won 2 Stanley Cups, being a third and fourth liner, while also making his steps up to be a second and first when needed. Tyler Johnson can do every single thing, and I'm very happy to have him here on this line. And now I'm going to pull up his stats as well, just to kind of go over what we've seen. As you see last year, 31 points in 67 games with the Blackhawks, but the year before that, 32 and 56, and honestly, I don't know how that does not turn into another NHL contract personally. I think that was absolutely still fantastic numbers, especially for a Blackhawks team where he was one of the only players that was actually out there playing NHL level hockey. But a big thing as well is when you look at his past, what he's been able to do in the playoffs. He's been in many playoff experiences. He's one of these guys that has been there and done that, and that's a big part of what the Bruins are still looking to add and still kind of anticipating that they're wanting to get, is that playoff experience along with a much younger team of what we've seen. We want to see people who've been able to go further in the playoffs than the Bruins have been capable of. And at this point right now, Tyler Johnson is that guy, and I am so excited to be able to see him finally play a regular season game. And moving on to the next screenshot as well, I wanted to pull up the lines of what we're seeing right here, right now. And I don't have the screenshot, but Fluto Shinzawa tweeted just moments before I started recording that we've seen Tyler Johnson start practicing on the second line center. So I want you to keep that in mind while I'm going over this and what really could be the big part of where we see Tyler Johnson and how we see him. But a lot of this, we have many places to see where Tyler Johnson goes. As I mentioned, top 6, bottom 6, he's done it all. He's played everywhere. And I think the Bruins are going to kind of move him around a bit to see where he can work with. Keep the line similar to what we have over the weekend. We've seen the success come from that. Really, keep Jim Montgomery's job alive. But Tyler Johnson adding to this is only going to be a bonus and not a negative in any way, especially who he's played with in his career, how he's been able to play with, and being able to guide a line is what he's been doing the past few seasons with Chicago. So I think this is a very good sign of what we're going to look at. But the Tyler Johnson signed, a move has to be made of who is being taken out of this lineup and what is next for who I'm putting in my mind right now. I'm going to discuss in this video Morgan Geekie. He's definitely the guy, in my opinion, that is going to be kind of missing out in this lineup. And I will pull up those lines once again. As you see, third line right wing there. We have to assume that either Justin Brazeau, Charlie Coyle maybe gets moved down to the third line. Then you slot in Tyler Johnson at the center role. So it may be Charlie Coyle. Maybe he moves down. Maybe Poitras moves over. We still don't know right now exactly at this moment where we see Tyler Johnson, but we do know he's practicing on the second line. But As for Morgan Geekie, what's next for him? Does a trade come for the Bruins to clear up a bit of cap space, move him along? We know that Tyler Johnson is only a 1-year deal, and he's getting a bit older, but he still is a very competitive player, and I'm excited to see how that translates to a Bruins game, how talented he is, how he's going to be playing with competent players again. You know, I don't mean to disrespect the Blackhawks, but over the past few seasons, we know it's been tough for them, so being able to see what we may experience as a very, very good still Tyler Johnson really just is super exciting to see. And knowing how the Bruins weekend started and how it ended as well, the 2 wins, the 2 back-to-back shutouts, the Bruins may be back. I don't want to say it yet, folks, but Tyler Johnson may be helping this team get back to where they want to be. But looking at as well, the game stats from Seattle, which was a Sunday game, and I wanted to discuss this a bit as well. You see, this is a very, very good game by the Bruins. The Bruins' second shutout of the weekend. A lot of positive coming out of this, but right at the bottom, as you can see, once again, Morgan Geekie, a pretty, unfortunately, familiar spot for him on the hockey stat card as of late. This is a real telltale sign that this was the final straw for him. You know, he had a few options this weekend. Even when the team was playing good, he ultimately didn't play the best, still had a few struggles. I think that was really the final straw for Don Sweeney to be able to pull the trigger on this move and get Tyler Johnson into the lineup on a regular basis and finally just be able to have him with the team on a contract rather than just skating for free, I guess. But now that we do have Tyler Johnson's lineup, I think Morgan Geekie's time is definitely going to take a very big rest. Whether it is just have him scratched, whether it is trade him, whether it maybe try and put him down on waivers. I think there are a few options the Bruins are going to try. And as well, looking at his stats from this season, 2 points in 11 games simply is not good enough. No goals, 2 assists. When we seen him last year of 17 and 22, we need to see better from Morgan Geekie here. And frankly, right now is not the time. So I think Morgan Geekie is going to be that guy taking the seat. But let me know what you think. Of course, we don't know anything yet. I haven't seen any information about who it may be, who they're hinting at. If anybody at all has been, moved, whether or not someone was swapping on lines or whatnot. But by the way we've seen the past few games, by what we're looking at, I think that Tyler Johnson's time is now Morgan Geekie's. Has potentially ended for this season, unless there are injuries, of course. But if Morgan Geekie still continues to play the way he has been, he needs to take a seat. So I can't complain about this move. I'm very, very happy that Tyler Johnson is being the one in. And presumptively, if it is Morgan Geekie, that is the right move for right now. But I want to know what you guys think about this whole Tyler Johnson move. You know, guys, you know how my reaction has been towards Tyler Johnson, how long I've been waiting for this to see him back on one of the most underrated NHL players, in my opinion, and one of my favorites, so may have a bit of bias there as well, but I'm excited to see this. And we're presumably going to see him up next game as well. He's been practicing with the team, so he kind of knows the rhythm. He's on there. It's just a matter of time now to find where he suits into this lineup, what lines he's familiar with, and if there's any players that he really got a bit of chemistry already built with in the practice and whatnot in the preseason. So like I said, let me know what you think. I'm very excited about this. I hope you guys are as well. This is only going to make the Bruins better as it's a very low contract and there's pretty much no risk to this. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button. If you're excited to see Tyler Johnson with this lineup, I'll be keeping you guys updates with everything from him and the Bruins, and make sure to hit the sub button. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.